Alright, so this is Grant coming at you from, don't know, some little town in Texas. Sheffield, Texas, I think it says. There's the exit for that down that way. It's February 15th, 2026. Taking a break on the side of the road to hopefully do a video in peace and quiet, which doesn't look like it's going to happen because now I got a truck coming up here. Yeah, maybe. To tell you what happened well, probably about an hour ago. I had a trike pass a semi like that. So first I passed the semi, got over in the lane like I was supposed to, in that fast lane when nobody's there. Cleared him, but the semi truck driver was walking around, probably doing a pre-trip or something, I don't know, around his truck. And I looked in the mirror as I'm getting back into the regular driving lane after having passed him, and I happened to notice the trike, the guy in the little motorcycle trike, which is like the size of a motorcycle, regular motorcycle, but it has like two not wagon wheels, but widespread, kind of look like bicycle wheels in the front instead of a normal motorcycle wheel. They stick out a little bit, a foot aside a piece or something. Dude on that trike, I don't know if he's not paying attention or what, but he just kept on going right in the driving lane. Let's pretend it's the driving lane and the hammer lane on the interstate, not the frontage road that I'm on. Pretend it's like that. Truck is here right on the edge of the shoulder because semis don't have very far to go, to get over. And they had to, my guess is he's maybe doing a pre-trip, maybe he stopped to take a leak and then heard noises before he stopped, and so he went to go check his trailer. I don't know what he was doing, but the truck driver was walking right there, and I noticed him leaning over doing his thing, checking stuff out as I'm driving by. Then the guy on the trike is coming behind me, about a mile behind me. He doesn't move over. He has the hammer lane open, doesn't move over, and chooses instead to drive right along, almost as close to the truck as he can get, which is weirdly enough. This is what drew my attention to keep watching through the rear mirror. I have nothing ahead of me, so what the hell. So I'm watching this. Dude on the trike hits the guy, and I don't think he did it on purpose. Obviously, I don't think he'd want to do it on purpose. You wouldn't think people would want to do that, especially in a motorcycle. In a car, I could maybe see it because he just hit him and keep on going or something. You shouldn't do that, but I'm just saying you could. Thank God he wasn't in the car, because that driver would be dead. I think they both survived because I saw the truck driver take a tumble, obviously, and then the trike bounced into the truck and back off and opposite into the median of the interstate over there, and that time. But he of course got ejected from it, and then they both landed on the pavement together, but they're not together, but on one side and the other truck driver on the other side. Both of them were sitting up as they kept on going, so they survived it. Obviously, I called 911 to let 911 know, so they got out there to do that. I decided not to stop though, because I was a good 1.5 miles, 2 miles down the road by that point, and the only, I could go try and find a turnaround and come back and do all that, but by the time I do that, what am I going to do? I don't have anything on me to help out with the blood clotting or whatever the hell, And there's no way I'm going to park the truck 1.5 miles and walk back to where that happened and whatnot. So the best I could do was call 911. Let them know so they can get emergency responses out there. They both survived. That's the one good thing. I did see they both sat up and survived it. But they both went for one hell of a trip. Anyhow, I don't know if the truck driver was doing his pre-trip or what. But that happened because two people didn't think the process through. The truck driver probably didn't expect to get hit on the side of the road if he's doing his pre-trip or doing whatever he's doing, but at the same time, he was literally out in the walking lane, in the driving lane. He was walking down it because his truck was on the shoulder, right at the line, and he was walking down that lane without paying attention. Didn't see that trike coming. He saw me, looked at me, but I was clear over there in the hammer lane and gone at that point. But I don't know if he didn't see the trike or didn't care. I don't know. Maybe he's one-side-minded, thinking about his truck and stuff. Don't know, but he shouldn't have been walking in that lane without paying attention. And the same thing goes for the guy in the trike, especially on a motorcycle on a trike. You would think that your tires would stick out and whatever, and not to get close to the truck driver. And the other thing is, the hammer lane was wide open, so why not move over? At least give him the lane, even though, yeah, he shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be in the driving lane. I would agree with you on that. But why didn't you get over? Anyhow, the mistake happened because accidents happen for that reason. Nobody's paying attention. This went on, so all that happened. Half an hour later down the line, I have a friend of mine. She called me up, coincidentally enough, to talk about her situation, and gave me permission to talk about it on the video, only because she wants the awareness out there for people to pay attention while they're driving. Anyhow, she was 15 years old, drinking underage, of course, like we all try to get away with or whatever when we're younger, young and dumb kind of thing. Coming back from a party late at night, and she ran over a kid. I don't know how old the kid was. I don't remember all the details. I don't know if they're a 7 or 8 year old kid, something like that. Ran him over when he was crossing the street, who knows, or something. She went to prison for vehicular homicide for the first 5 years of a 15-year sentence. She did the first 2 years of that in the juvie type of thing, and then the other 3 years in the adult prison in Montana. Then they let her out on parole, but she has a parole, lots of parole conditions. But suffice it to say, she even gets a misdemeanor. In the next 10 years, she has to go back and serve all 10 years of her remaining 15-year sentence. Period. Doesn't matter if it's a misdemeanor, doesn't matter if it's another felony, does not matter. If she violates her parole in any which way, and that during the next 10 years of her sentence, she has to go back to prison and start the whole entire 10 years to finish her sentence out. It don't matter how long that went. Now her conditions state as she goes by beyond, her thing, it gets less and less eventually or whatever. She was calling me today because she no longer has to be on an ankle monitor, and before that she could only go to work, and then she has the hour before work and the hour after work that she can go shopping and do daily life stuff that we have to do to survive in life. But then she has to be home because of that ankle monitoring. She has to go home and behave herself in her apartment that they chose to put her in, because she doesn't even get to decide what apartment she lives in, what rent she pays, and it was a expensive rent apartment, but they wanted it for a bunch of reasons, like they can watch the cameras or something like that. I don't know, almost like she's signing herself into a prison. I don't know exactly how that worked, but for some reason she had to be in that apartment complex, and she constantly has problems trying to get roommates to live there, because anyone who lives with her has to sign up and know ahead of time that she's on parole and the whole story and blah blah blah, and they have to have a pretty clear criminal record themselves, not have any kind of criminal record, to be able to live there with her. And they had to check the residence around the apartment complex, to allow her to live there, and yada yada, all this stuff. And she's in her hometown, and she wished that she didn't have to get on parole and stay in her hometown, because they all know, and maybe that's for accountability wise that they made her do it. But she's calling me today because they have lifted some of the restrictions. She's at the 5 years into her parole, so she served the 5 years in prison, various prisons or whatever. Then they let her out, and she's been working and behaving and doing her thing, and now she's reached the 5-year limit. And I didn't know that. No, I knew a bunch about other stuff about her story, but I didn't know she killed the kid on Valentine's Day, and yesterday is Valentine's Day 2026. So now it's officially 10 years since she killed the kid, or something like that. And then she's done the 5 years worth of prison. She's done the 5 years worth of parole, and they've just now, yesterday, released her off of the ankle monitor. She still has the restriction where she can't be out driving after dark. I don't know if she can be out after dark at all or something like that, but anyways, she can't be out driving after dark, I know that much. So she basically goes home by dark, but she's happy that she can go wherever and do whatever she wants within town. She still has the restriction of she can't leave town, definitely can't leave the state, and so on like that. She still has restrictions. It's just they're letting her off the monitor so they don't know where she's at 24/7, I guess. But if she's caught doing something she shouldn't do, including drinking, she goes back to prison. And so while she's on parole, she can't have any booze, any drink at all, even though she's a legal adult by now, because that happened a little over 10 years ago, and she was 15, so she's 25, 26 right now. Something like that, 26, 27, somewhere in that range. And hasn't been able to have any kind of drink since that happened, obviously, and not willing to risk it because she would have to start the whole 10 years worth of the completion of her sentence over from that point where she gets caught. And I tell you this today because I wanted to make a video on distracted driving. Whether you intended to go out there and do it or not, you know, she obviously didn't intend to kill the kid. But it could very easily happen. You can injure yourself, you can kill yourself, you can injure others, and you can kill others out here. So you need to take driving seriously. I take driving as a job. And I'm just as guilty of distracted driving as the next guy. But I try to do what's called a controlled distracted driving, if you want to call it that. In which anytime I go to look at my phone, I go to take a drink, I go to eat something, I go to change the radio, anytime I do any of that, anything that does not involve my eyes on the road, I make sure to do a 360 and mile coverage, 360 using the mirrors in front and looking to the sides and everything to try to make sure that what I do can't kill anybody else. Could still kill me if I'm not paying attention and I hit a guardrail or something like that. It could still very well kill me, but at least I'm not going to take somebody else out with me, or I'm going to try not to. And then I very quickly look at the phone, very quickly take a drink, or eat something or whatever, because I keep her story in mind. At the very least, even with all the parole restrictions, blah, 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 she still at night has to go to sleep every night knowing that she killed a kid. Has to know that some kid that was like 7 years old didn't get to live past 7 years old because of her decisions that night. And if you want to say that mentally screws a person up, I can only guess what that did to her. You know, she's still holding her own. She's still trying to survive because life goes on. But I can't begin to imagine what that would be like, knowing that I killed somebody. So she said she took her day off work yesterday, even though she was supposed to go to work. And they let her, you know, parole officer and all that, monitors that and whatever. But they let her have it off because obviously that's the anniversary of when this happened. And she, of course, you know, told me about how she cried in bed all day long because of that. And I don't blame her. But then she was happy at the same time because that being the anniversary of her sentence or that deal or whatever, that was the day that they also could lift her restriction to take her ankle monitor off. And most people would run right to the parole office and say, yeah, take it off, take it off, take it off. She waited one more day, because what's one more day? Because she couldn't get out of bed. Too busy crying about it. So she met with her parole officer this morning, on a Sunday no less, and her parole officer was nice enough to do it. And come and meet her and take off the monitor, even though they probably could have forced her to go in on Monday to do it. Because she understands the whole situation, but can you imagine that? Being on an ankle monitor for the last 5 years, being in prison for 5 years before that, and waiting another day because it happens to also fall on the anniversary of when you killed somebody and you can't even get out of bed. I tell you people this story on purpose, and I hope it comes through on the audio and the video, in the hopes that you will all keep that in mind the next time you go to look at your phone. You can be completely sober driving down the road, look at your phone, or go to look around and nobody around, look at your phone, look up, and accidentally kill somebody that you didn't even know came out of a culvert or whatever. And I've also heard of a story where a deer came across the highway, and this situation happened to somebody. The deer went to go across the highway. He goes to avoid or hit the deer or whatever. I don't know the details on it. Somehow he ends up across the median, hit on with somebody else, and kills that family because that deer came out and scared him. Or he tried to avoid the deer, or hit the deer and that screwed it up, or I don't know exactly the details of it. But the guy tried to avoid a deer, ended up across the median, hit on, and killed somebody. Killed a family or killed whatever, I can't remember the details of it, but just to say that even that could happen to you when you're not paying attention. And I keep those in mind, those stories in mind, because as they say, I'm a professional driver, and that is a dangerous job at the end of the day. It can get mundane, and the minute you take it and be complacent with it, like it's just something that you do every day, every hour of the day, blah, 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 the minute you do that, something's going to happen. It's dangerous as all hell. I could kill myself, I could injure myself, I could injure others, I could kill others. So on behalf of my buddy back in town, I'm not going to go give you too much details on it. She wants me to tell you to pay attention. Not do the stupid thing she did on top of it. But at the very least, pay attention to what you're doing out here when you're driving. because it can totally change your life. Even without all the pro restrictions, she spent all day yesterday crying in bed because she took the life of a 7-year-old that doesn't get to live their life. And she has told me on numerous times that she is considered killing herself over the deal, because she has to live with that kid died because of her. And that could be any of us out here on the road. So I hope I didn't bring your day down by watching this video, but it's something that needed to be said. Because you come out here and you drive and you're not paying attention, you go to look at that phone, you go to change that radio station, you go to eat, you go to drink, and you could drastically change your life. And obviously, you could kill somebody. And I just find it coincidental that that situation happened this morning on that trike. That guy on the motorcycle trike hit that truck driver. Thankfully, they both survived. But then a half an hour later, she calls me and tells me the update on her story. And so I wanted to make a video, and I got her permission to do so. And of course, I told her about what happened the half an hour beforehand. And she's like, oh, I couldn't, you know. That made her about want to cry too, and I hated having to tell her to. But I'm just like, well, this happened this morning. You know? So, I don't know about the audio or the video quality because the sun's out. I'm hoping the audio caught me pretty good on this, and that the wind, I found a spot that doesn't have much wind. So hopefully this video goes over good. I'm gonna load it up to the video, and this video by itself, I don't want to say it, but like the video because it'll share it. Share the video with others. Anybody that you know is a bad driver, maybe. Subscribe to my channel. I bring better videos than this out there. I just wanted to bring this video up to date for the awareness of it on her behalf, on anybody else's behalf. Anyone that's lost someone on the road, living this on the road life, sometimes we just forget it. Forget how dangerous this job can be. And you don't even have to drive as a job. You can be driving home from shopping and have something happen if you don't pay attention. So pay attention, you know. I'm just as guilty of it as the next guy. I try not to pick that phone up. I try not to do stuff like that, but there are sections in life where you still got to do it and try to pull off the road when you do it. That's why I'm on this video now, because there's no way I was going to make a video while doing it. I've done a video while driving before, and it's okay as long as you keep your eyes on the road the entire time you're doing it. Maybe, but you're distracted driving there too. But I purposely pulled over to make this video today to remind people how dangerous this can be. It's not a game, folks. Like and subscribe, leave comments. I'll catch you in the flip. Peace.